You ever have one of those mornings where the fog's so thick it feels like the world's holding its breath? That's how it was in Portland, Oregon, at 5 a.m., outside a little diner called Mama's Place, where Lena Brooks unlocked the door, the bell jingling like it was too tired to care. Across the street, a shiny new high-rise was going up Silver Tower, all glass and ego, the kind of place that screamed money while folks like Lena scraped by, pouring coffee for welders and janitors who could barely afford the eggs. Lena, she was 38, with hands that knew the weight of a skillet and a heart that carried her mama's old saying. If you got one slice of bread, you split it with someone hungrier. She'd inherited that diner in spirit, not on paper, and every morning she'd fire up the stove, whisk eggs till they glowed, and simmer soup that smelled like a hug. She'd sip her coffee from a cracked mug, glancing out the window at the construction site, where guys in hard hats hauled steel for $15 an hour while men in suits stepped out of Audis, barking into phones like they owned the sunrise. One of those suits was Nathan Reed, 45, CEO of Reed Ventures, hair streaked with silver, his tailored coat never creasing, not even in the drizzle. Lena didn't mean to watch him, but she did, wondering how someone could look so powerful yet so cold, like he'd forgotten what it was to feel the rain. That morning, though, something shifted. Lena was flipping bacon, the sizzle filling the quiet, when she caught sight of a kid outside her window, maybe 10, jacket too thin, sneakers split at the toes, hands pressed against the glass like he was trying to wish himself inside. His name was Jamal, though she didn't know it yet, and his eyes, big and hungry, hit her like a memory of her own childhood, standing outside delis with $1 that wouldn't stretch. She didn't think twice, just opened the door, the bell chiming softly, and knelt down. "Hey, sweetheart," she said, her voice warm like the broth on the stove. "You okay?" Jamal shuffled, clutching his sleeves. "I'm hungry," he mumbled, "but I ain't got no money. My dad's out of work, and Mom's been sick. We're down to one meal a day." Lena's throat caught, but she smiled. "In here, money don't decide if you eat. You sit." She led him to a booth, piled a plate with rice, chicken soup, grilled pork, buttery greens, and a thick slice of bread, steam curling up like a promise. She set a glass of milk so cold it sweated, and said, "Eat, baby. You belong here." Jamal's hands shook as he lifted the spoon, tears slipping down his cheeks. "Tastes like my mom's cooking," he whispered, "when she's not sick." Lena leaned in, her voice steady. "Jamal, food ain't a privilege, it's a right. You're hungry, you come here. I'll always have something for you." What Lena didn't know was someone was watching. Across the street, Nathan Reed stood by his Bentley, phone forgotten in his hand. He'd only meant to check the site before a meeting, but he heard her through the open door. "Food ain't a privilege. Hungry don't wait." And it hit him like a brick. Suddenly, he wasn't the big shot CEO anymore. He was 12 again, in a cramped apartment, his mom slicing a bologna sandwich into thirds, his dad staring at the floor after another no from a job interview. He'd lain awake at night, stomach growling, whispering to himself, "If I ever make it big, I'll feed people. I'll give back." That promise had gotten buried under boardrooms and bonuses, but now it roared back, loud and raw, making his chest ache. Lena's diner was a world apart from Nathan's. She knew her regulars like Family Carlos, a roofer who sent every dime to his kids in Guatemala, Teresa, a night shift cleaner raising 2 boys alone, old Ray, pushing 65, still hauling crates because retirement was a pipe dream. She'd pour Carlos's coffee black, slip an extra slice of toast on his plate, and wave off Teresa's crumpled dollar with a quiet, "Pay me when you can." Ray got his coffee strong, the way he liked, while he rambled about a fishing trip he almost took in '92. Lena carried their stories: Carlos's bronchitis, Teresa's overdue rent, Ray's shaky hands, and when the day ended, she'd pack leftovers into her bike basket and ride to the underpass off I-84. There, under the rumble of traffic, she'd hand out sandwiches and soup to folks living in tents: veterans, mothers, kids with eyes too old for their faces. She'd say their names if she knew them, ask gently if she didn't, and promise to remember next time. That Sunday, the city felt hushed, the construction site half asleep, cranes still against the gray. Lena thought about closing early, maybe stealing a few hours to rest, but something told her to wait. That's when she saw Jamal at the window, and everything changed. Nathan, still watching, felt his old vow clawing its way out. He saw the homeless down the block, an old woman rocking like she held a ghost, a vet staring at nothing, two teens sharing a torn blanket, and then he saw Lena again, packing a bag for Jamal, rice and meat, and a candy bar for sweetness. She said, "Come back anytime, okay? You won't go hungry, not if I can help it." Then she stepped outside, crossing to the underpass, handing out food like it was the most natural thing in the world. Nathan stood frozen, a billionaire with towers to his name, feeling smaller than the woman with a beat-up bike and a heart bigger than his empire. Up on the 42nd floor of Reed Ventures, the city sprawled below like a map Nathan owned. His CFO, Karen Holt, laid out plans for a $4 million glass facade on Silver Tower Pure Flash, meant to pull in rich tenants. "It's about prestige," she said, her voice sharp as her heels. The lawyer, Greg Vance, droned about permits and optics, while the architect, Mia Chun, pushed back, her pencil tapping. Why spend millions on a shiny wall when the budget's already tight? "It's just ego." Karen smirked. "Ego pays the bills, Mia. Flash brings cash." Nathan barely listened. In his head, he saw Jamal's spoon, Lena's voice, the ache of his own forgotten promise. He cut in, voice low. "Will that wall help a single kid eat? Pay a worker's doctor bill?" Karen blinked, caught off guard. "It's downstream value, Nathan. Brand drives profit." Mia watched him, quiet, like she saw a crack in his armor. He waved off the decision, but he was already somewhere else, his mind rewriting what success meant. That night, his penthouse felt like a tomb-polished marble, silent lights, a view that mocked him. He Googled hunger stats. 1 in 6 kids in Portland went to bed hungry. 12,000 people slept on the streets. His tower would house millionaires, not mothers like Jamal's. He saw his childhood kitchen, his mom's tired smile, his dad's worn shoes, and he wrote one line on a notepad: "Stop building walls that hide who you swore to be." By morning, he was done pretending. He ditched the suit, pulled on jeans and a cap, and walked to the underpass. He saw the faces Lena fed the woman rocking, the vet flinching, kids clutching a cup for coins and let it hurt. Then he saw Lena again, handing out sandwiches, laughing with Jamal, brushing off his mom's thanks with a gentle, "This ain't trouble. This is why I opened the door." Nathan waited till the crowd thinned, then stepped out from the shadows. "I'm Nathan Reed," he said, voice softer than he meant. "I saw what you did for that boy. Heard what you said. Food's a right, not a privilege." It woke something in me. Lena froze, her tote clutched tight. "You're the guy from the site," she said, half disbelieving. "Why were you here?" Nathan exhaled, like he was shedding a skin. "I was like Jamal once, hungry, watching my mom cut a sandwich 3 ways. I swore I'd help if I ever got rich, but I forgot. You reminded me. I want to build something real, a community center, with meals, job training, a clinic, housing, childcare. But I need you, Lena. You know their names, their stories. I've got money, but you've got the heart." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Why me? I'm just a cook. I feed folks who can't pay. That's it." Nathan shook his head. "That's everything. You see people, not numbers. I can hire architects, but I can't hire what you have. Lead this, Lena. Make it yours." She gripped her tote, voice tight. "If I do this, it's for them, Jamal, the folks under the bridge, not some photo op for your board. No fancy donors getting special treatment. The doors stay open for the hungry, the broke, the sick. That's my line." Nathan nodded, no hesitation. "That's how it'll be." The fight came fast. Karen Holt slammed her folder down in the boardroom. "This is insanity, Nathan. A community center? You'll tank our margins." Greg muttered about lawsuits, shareholder revolts. Mia just watched, her pencil still. Nathan leaned forward, voice like steel. "This isn't about profit. It's about who we are. If the board fights me, I'll fund it myself." Outside, the world wasn't kinder. Trolls online called Lena a hustler, a nobody chasing clout. Cameras crowded Mama's place, flashing where Jamal once stood. Lena lay awake, doubt whispering. What if you fail them? What if you're not enough? But then Carlos squeezed her hand, saying, "You got this." Teresa whispered, "I believe in you." Ray promised to volunteer. Jamal slid a crayon drawing across the counter. Lena in front of a big building, labeled Miss Lena's house. She whispered to herself, "I'm doing this for them, for Mama." For 8 months, Lena walked the site, learning blueprints, arguing with contractors, pouring coffee for workers. Support poured in. 80% of Reed Ventures staff backed her. A GoFundMe hit $3 million. Even big names like Nike CEO shouted her out. The Silver Community Center rose, not a tower of glass, but a heartbeat of steel and hope. At the soft opening, hundreds lined up. Lena stood at the door, hands shaking, as Jamal and his mom, Aisha, walked in, eyes wide. She led them to a dining hall steaming with food. Jamal's smile lit up the room, and Lena's tears finally fell, gratitude flooding her. 6 months later, the numbers told a story. 60,000 meals served, 250 people trained for jobs, 180 employed. Aisha cooked beside Lena, her cough gone, her laugh bright. Carlos landed a foreman gig, his shoulders straighter. Teresa supervised a cleaning crew, her boys in new sneakers. Ray retired, the center's clinic fixing his aches. Lena, now director of outreach, kept her old apartment, her apron, her roots. Her TED Talk, one plate at a time, went viral. 6 million views, book deals piling up, but she still washed dishes, still visited her mama's grave to whisper, "We did it." The ripple went beyond Portland. 10 cities copied the model. Companies like Intel wove it into their plans. Harvard taught it as a case study. The city passed a people-first policy, funneling cash to community projects. Nathan sold his penthouse, moved to a walk-up, served meals at the center 3 days a week, his sleeves rolled up, his smile real. He and Lena became friends, not boss and worker, but partners in a fight that mattered. A year later, thousands packed the plaza for the center's anniversary. Jamal, 11 now, took the mic, voice clear. "Miss Lena fed me when I had nothing." Mr. Nathan remembered who he was. They changed everything. The crowd roared, tears everywhere. Nathan spoke next, his hair grayer, his words raw. "Lena showed me strength isn't money, it's caring." Lena stepped up, voice steady. Nathan proved when heart meets power, we can do anything. In Eugene, they cut the ribbon on a second center, Jamal there, saying he'd be a chef to feed people like Lena did. Kids from saved families volunteered, passing out trays, tutoring, carrying the spark forward. Lena stood on the steps, eyes wet, whispering, "Mama was right, give with your whole heart, and it comes back tenfold." But here's the thing: what happens when the world pushes back? When the next Karen Holt says it's too expensive to care. When the cameras leave and the trolls get louder. Was Lena right to trust Nathan? Or is it naive to think one center can fix a broken city? What do you think? Can compassion really beat profit? Or are we just dreaming? Drop a comment, tell me your take. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Let's keep sharing stories that make us feel alive.